Okay, welcome back, everyone. This is going to be the final section of our trigonometric identities topic. Today, we're going to be looking at our product identities, which are these identities over here, or the final kind of section of identities on my formula sheet. If I come back to these equations, you can see I've got my four equations. This is my sum and difference identities. And by performing simultaneous equations on these, I get my product identities, and I'll show you kind of what they look like. So if I start out by doing 1 plus 2. If I do 1 plus 2, I'm adding these two identities. On the left-hand side, that is going to become cos A plus B plus cos A minus B. And on the right-hand side, if I'm adding these two, well, I have negative sine A plus B plus sine A plus B. Some of you might say this here is going to simplify out to give 0. And what I'm left with instead is two lots of cos A cos B. So that is one of my first identities on the formula sheet. We actually bring that 2 across. We divide both sides by 2. And they also swap the order, and we get cos A cos B is equal to 1/2 outside of cos A plus B plus cos A minus B. And this is why it's called the product identity, because it's the product of cos of angle A times cos of angle B. That's going to be equal to 1/2 cos A plus B plus cos A minus B. So that's my first identity. And if I continue doing simultaneous equations, I'm going to wind up with the rest. If I subtract my two equations, I'm going to wind up with cos A plus B minus cos A minus B. That is going to be equal to, my cosine is going to disappear, and that's going to be negative 2 sine A sine B. Now, because I have this negative, it could be easier just to do a bit of a swap on the other side. If I multiply everything through by -1, that's going to give negative cos A plus B plus cos A minus B is equal to 2 sine A sine B. If I divide both sides by 2 and I just exchange sides here to make it just look like a normal subtraction, I'm going to wind up with sine A sine B is equal to 1/2 outside of cos A minus B minus cos A plus B. So adding equation 1 and 2, subtracting equation 1 and 2 gives me these two equations. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing to 3 and 4 and get my other two equations. So if I do 3 plus 4 and I follow it through, I wind up with sine A cos B is equal to 1/2 sine A plus B plus sine A minus B. And my final identity is going to be cos A sine B is equal to 1/2 sine A plus B sine A minus B. So that is where those four identities come from. Let me just highlight these new ones. I've got this one here, this one here, this one here, and this one here. That's my final four identities on the formula sheet. They come from my sum and difference angle identities. And again, these four formulas are over here on the formula sheet as well. So now we know a little bit about where they come from. Let's have a look at how we can use them.